I'm Dave Haynes. I'm the opinions editor at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Welcome to Fourth and State. I'm joined today by Jeff Crawford, who's the Attorney General for the Forest County Potawatomi. And the Potawatomi have strong feelings about the casino that's been proposed by the Menominee Nation in Kenosha. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. I wondered if you would just take a few moments and tell us, if you can, sort of an outline form. What are your concerns about the casino in Kenosha?
Well, we are opposed to the proposed casino in Kenosha for several reasons. We think that it is going to be bad for Milwaukee, because for every job they generate in Kenosha, they're going to take away a job here in the Milwaukee area. We think that the casino and its history with criminals and scandal, and the fact that all of the major agreements that have been signed that are part of this application are signed by a convicted felon for taking bribes associated with the application. And there are other felons associated with this application because of their activities associated with it, is bad precedent. It's also potentially harmful, we think, to the city, or excuse me, to Indian gaming in general.
You've brought up the issue of what you call criminal elements involved in a casino proposal. But two of the folks, the former county executive in Kenosha County and Dennis Troha, are no longer involved. So how can you say that there are criminal elements involved?
Because there are multiple agreements with the local government's Chamber of Commerce, revenue sharing, tax sharing type of agreements that were actually negotiated by the Kenosha County Executive and approved and gone and shepherded through their governmental approval process. We know that Dennis Troha, the financial backer on this, was now indicted and then convicted of crimes. He pled to some of those crimes that led to the criminal conviction of, I think, 4 others. But the point is that those agreements were supposed to have been negotiated in good faith by honest government officials and looking out for the best interests of their constituents.
Let's talk a bit about the market. The Menominee argue that they will draw from northern Illinois and that they will essentially expand the market with the creation of a casino. You have a different take on that. What's your opinion on the market?
We think they're wrong, and we base that on our current experiences, and we also base it on economic studies. There was an independent study done by the Wisconsin Policy Research Group that concluded about a year ago that looked at the market and saw that the total payments from the Indian tribes based on their revenues has been flat or declining. And he in part takes that into account to say that he thinks the market is full. But beyond that, there is another fact out there, factual scenario in Illinois. In the last 3 or 4 years, a 10th gaming boat license was awarded and the casino opened in Des Plaines, Illinois, which is by the O'Hare Airport. Yep. And so that gaming operation came on board and had very good revenues. And I think a lot of people look at the positive revenues that come out of that gaming boat and say, see, that's proof that the market has grown. But what they don't look at is what has the impact been on the other river boats. And the fact of the matter is that those revenues for those other river boats went down and they have not recovered.
Now, the Menominee also said that essentially they say, where do you want the money? Do you want it in Wisconsin or do you want it in Illinois? And they make the argument that there are plans to look at a casino in Waukegan, and that certainly if a casino isn't built in Kenosha, it's more likely that a casino might be built in Waukegan. And so the argument is, if you don't build it in Wisconsin, it's likely to be built in Illinois. What's your take on that? Wouldn't the Potawatomi also be harmed by a casino in Waukegan?
There's always a discussion going on in Illinois on what they are going to be doing with their gaming licenses. And as it sits right now with this application, it's clear that the market is full in Illinois, and it would have an adverse impact here in the Milwaukee area. And putting another mega casino in Kenosha is not going to be the answer.
I've also heard the argument that, look, if Target came into this market and said, we want to build a store across the street from Kohl's, no one would think anything about it. What's the difference here?
Because Target and Kohl's are in the free market, economy. Gaming is a heavily regulated industry, and
so you'd argue it's not a free market.
It's not a free market. It's definitely a limited market, and there are under the federal law, if the state of Wisconsin offers gaming, then they have to offer that opportunity up for Indian tribes. And the tribes actually have gaming compacts, and our gaming is limited. And so it's already limited under federal law in our gaming compacts. If you were to look at this as a competition, this is not Walmart versus or Target versus Kohl's. This is like a Walmart compared to a mom and pop in terms of size and scope.
$800 million casino, 3,000 to 5,000 jobs,
Yep.
and you've argued that those jobs would come out of Milwaukee. You think that you've made the argument, you just made it, that you see it almost as a 1-to-1 ratio, a job there, a job loss here.
Absolutely, and if you look at the way that deal is structured, there are many things with that deal, the way it's structured, that it's just very disturbing. But one of them is that the Kenosha citizens will get first preference in hiring, Racine second, and Milwaukee third. So it's not like the jobs that are lost here in Milwaukee are going to be picked up and replaced in Kenosha. There just won't be enough job slots available for the Milwaukee market.
Now, the Menominee Nation is a very poor tribe, one of the poorest in Wisconsin, which is why they want a moneymaker like a casino. Do you pose any effort for them to develop a casino anywhere else in the state?
Well, it's an interesting question because economically they are definitely down. I mean, historically they were the economic leaders in terms of Indian country, but obviously after the termination in the 70s, they had a hard time getting their economy back going. The federal government addressed some of those issues when they entered into a settlement with the Menominee and paid them $32 million in the early 2000s for the harm that they received because of the termination efforts. But beyond that, this is kind of ironic. In the Kenosha application, they identify an alternative site being an expansion on their current money-making on-reservation casino.
In Menominee County.
In Menominee County. And the federal government, the BIA, rejects that alternative site in the Kenosha application. Then, but this is the ironic part, the same BIA, different program, comes in and provides a $20-some million loan guarantee so that the Menominee could build their new convention center, hotel, RV space, parking. So in essence, they already built phase one with BIA-backed money, and the BIA rejects that site in the Kenosha application. It's strange.
Well, Jeff Crawford of the Forest County Potawatomi, thanks for being with us on 4th and State.